The sky above Shenzhen just went silent, and the US is officially on high alert. While Silicon Valley was busy writing threads about the future of mobility, China actually built it. This isn't a CGI render. This isn't a coming in 2030 promise from a startup with a fancy website. This is a fully autonomous, commercially certified flying taxi carrying real passengers over real Chinese cities, right now. The United States, Germany, and Japan? They're still stuck in the paperwork phase. Meanwhile, China just completed several test flights and officially opened the skies for business. The race for the low-altitude economy didn't just start, it's already over, and the West is staring at empty airspace. The era of the ground-bound city is ending, and it's ending much faster than anyone in Washington predicted. Imagine a world where the morning commute doesn't involve a brake pedal or a steering wheel. Imagine a world where the geometry of the city is three-dimensional. This is the pattern interrupt the world wasn't ready for. We've been told for decades that flying cars were a pipe dream, a mechanical nightmare that would never clear the hurdle of safety and regulation. China just proved every skeptic wrong by doing the one thing no one else could. They took the pilot out of the seat and replaced him with a localized cloud of artificial intelligence. We are witnessing a technological coup. In October 2023, the Civil Aviation Administration of China, the CAAC, did something unprecedented. They issued a type certificate to the EHang EH216-S. This is the world's first ever official certification for a pilotless, passenger-carrying aircraft. To understand the weight of this, you have to understand aviation history. Usually, it takes a decade to certify a new wing design. China did it for a vehicle that doesn't even have wings. This move sent a shockwave through the FAA and European aviation bodies because it signaled a total shift in the regulatory paradigm. China didn't just build a new vehicle, they built a new set of rules. The machine itself is a masterpiece of minimalist engineering. It's called an eVTOL, an electric vertical takeoff and landing vehicle. Think of it as a giant drone scaled up to fit 2 human beings. But the complexity is hidden under the hood. It features 16 independent propellers arranged in a coaxial layout across 8 fixed arms. There is no single point of failure. If one motor dies, the other 15 compensate instantly. If the entire flight computer glitches, a secondary brain takes over within milliseconds. This isn't a car with wings. It's a flying supercomputer designed to be impossible to crash. Step inside, and the shock deepens. There are no dials, no altimeters, no joysticks. There is a single, sleek touchscreen displaying a map. You don't fly this vehicle, you command it. You select your destination, the doors hiss shut, and the 16 rotors begin to hum. Within seconds, you are 300 meters in the air, gliding over the roofs of skyscrapers. The passenger's only job is to enjoy the view. It navigates, communicates with air traffic control, and lands itself with surgical precision. This is the definition of a hands-off future. But why now? And why China? The answer lies in the low-altitude economy. This isn't just a buzzword, it's a national directive backed by trillions of yuan. While the rest of the world was looking at electric cars on the road, China's central government was looking at the 1,000 meters of empty space above its cities. They officially labeled this sector a new growth engine in their 2024 National Work Report. That is the equivalent of a signal flare for every bank, city planner, and tech giant in the country to drop everything and build the sky. The strategy is coordinated, clandestine, and massive. We are talking about 57,000 companies already operating in this sector within China. They aren't just building the taxis, they are building the infrastructure. In the US, a drone delivery is a news event. In China, it's becoming a daily utility. They are installing vertiports, dedicated landing pads with high-speed charging on top of malls, hospitals, and transit hubs. They are deploying a dedicated 5G advanced network specifically to track these low-altitude flights. While the West debates where to put a bike lane, China is building a 3D highway in the clouds. But the scale goes even deeper. The numbers coming out of these test programs are staggering. EHang has completed over 40,000 test flights. Let that number sink in. That is more flight data than almost any Western eVTOL company has combined. They have tested in the freezing winds of northern China, the humidity of the south, and the salt air of the coast. They didn't just ask if it could fly, they asked if it could survive. The The result is a machine that isn't an experiment anymore. It's a commercial product with a price tag, a warranty, and a delivery date. The reaction from the US has been a mix of stunned silence and quiet panic. For years, the narrative was that China could copy but couldn't innovate. That narrative died the moment the EH216-S lifted off without a pilot. Silicon Valley is now staring at a reality where their lead in autonomous software is being challenged by China's lead in hardware manufacturing. The Pentagon is reportedly monitoring the dual-use nature of this technology. If you can move two people across a city autonomously, you can move equipment, supplies, or medical aid across a battlefield. The line between a taxi and a tactical asset is paper-thin. But here is the curiosity loop that most people are missing. China isn't just targeting the rich. While a $400,000 flying car sounds like a toy for billionaires, the government's plan is for mass transit 2.0. They are looking at the mathematics of urban congestion. Every major city in the world is hitting a wall. You cannot add more lanes to a bridge. You cannot dig enough tunnels to keep up with population growth. The only way out is up. By automating the flight, they remove the most expensive part of aviation, the pilot. Without a pilot to pay, the cost of a cross-city flight drops toward the price of a premium Uber. This is where the psychological shift happens. For a century, flight was something that required extensive training, a physical license, and a massive airport. It was an elite skill. China is turning flight into a commodity. When a tourist in Guilin can pay a few hundred yuan to see the karst mountains from an autonomous pod, the fear factor of pilotless flight begins to evaporate. Once the public accepts it, the market explodes. The scale of this ambition is projected to reach 3.5 trillion yuan by 2035. That is nearly $500 billion US. China is betting that the sky will be the next frontier of the global economy, and they are moving with a speed that the West simply isn't equipped to match. They have aligned their laws, their money, and their manufacturing might into a single spearhead. But if you think EHang is the only player in this game, think again. There is a second company, one backed by an automotive titan, that is taking a completely different approach to the flying car, one that doesn't even need a landing pad. Enter the second titan of this aerial revolution, XPENG AeroHT. While EHang is dominating the urban taxi market, XPENG is targeting the individual. They've unveiled something so ambitious, it sounds like a fever dream from a 1950s sci-fi magazine, the Land Aircraft Carrier. This isn't just a catchy name, it's a literal description of its function. This is a modular, two-part vehicle system that solves the single greatest hurdle facing flying cars in the West: the lack of infrastructure. Imagine a sleek, matte gray, six-wheeled van. It's rugged, electric, and looks like it belongs on a lunar colony. This ground module is a high-performance EV with an intelligent all-wheel drive system and a range exceeding 1,000 kilometers. But the magic happens in the rear cargo bay. With the press of a button, the back of the van slides open like a mechanical maw, and an electric flight module, a two-person drone, emerges. It unfolds its rotors, detaches from the van, and lifts into the sky. When you're done flying, you land back on the van's platform, and the vehicle automatically reels the pod back inside, securing it for the drive home. This modularity is a stroke of engineering genius that bypasses the last-mile problem of aviation. In the United States, if you own a private plane or a small helicopter, you are tethered to an airport. You drive to the hangar, fly to another hangar, and then take an Uber to your final destination. It's clunky and inefficient. XPENG's Land Aircraft Carrier turns every parking lot, every campsite, and every driveway into a private runway. You are no longer waiting for the government to build vertiports, you are driving the vertiport with you. The engineering inside the flight module is just as radical as its carrier. Unlike the EHang, which is fully autonomous, the AeroHT module offers a hybrid experience. It features a simplified flight control system that the company claims can be mastered in under 5 minutes. There is a single joystick. Moving it forward makes the craft go forward, pulling back makes it climb. The sophisticated flight computer handles the complex stabilization and rotor RPMs in the background. It's fly-by-wire taken to its ultimate conclusion. If you let go of the stick, the craft simply hovers in place, waiting for your next command. It's designed for the TikTok generation, not the Top Gun generation. Wait, there's more. This isn't a prototype that exists only in a sterile lab. In late 2025, the first mass production units began rolling off a specialized assembly line in Guangzhou. Over 7,000 people have already put down deposits. We are talking about a consumer product that is being manufactured at a scale that dwarfs the entire global private helicopter industry. The sheer manufacturing muscle of XPENG, a company that already builds tens of thousands of electric cars, means they are applying automotive-grade supply chain efficiencies to aerospace. This is why the price point, while high at roughly $300,000, is actually a death knell for traditional light aircraft manufacturers who charge millions for 40-year-old technology. But let's talk about the panic in the Pentagon that we touched on earlier. The concern isn't just that China is selling cool toys to the wealthy, it's about the underlying software architecture. To make thousands of these vehicles work, you need a decentralized AI-driven air traffic management system. China is currently deploying city-scale low-altitude networks. This is a digital mesh that tracks every single flying vehicle with centimeter-level precision using 5G advanced signals. This network does something the US FAA's current radar system can't dream of. It manages dynamic geofencing. If a fire breaks out or a medical helicopter needs a path, the AI instantly reroutes every autonomous taxi in the vicinity, creating a clear corridor in seconds. This isn't just transportation, it's a living, breathing digital organism. The West is still trying to figure out how to track Amazon delivery drones, while China is already managing a 3D highway system that operates with the fluid efficiency of a school of fish. Now let's address the skeptics who say, "This will never happen in my city." Low-altitude flight changes the math of the city itself. In a 2D world, distance is measured in hours in traffic. In a 3D world, distance is measured in minutes of flight. This geometry of the sky allows for a total decentralization of society. China is using this technology to bridge the massive wealth gap between its ultra-modern coastal cities and its rugged mountainous interior. Think about the emergency services. Right now, if you have a heart attack in a skyscraper during rush hour, an ambulance has to navigate gridlocked streets, find a parking spot, and then send paramedics up an elevator. With an autonomous medical pod, the craft lands on the roof or a balcony, the patient is loaded, and they are at the trauma center before the ambulance would have even cleared the first intersection. This is the emotional stake that the US is missing. This isn't just about saving time for the rich, it's about saving lives for the many. But there is a catch, a geopolitical one that most people are overlooking. This entire ecosystem relies on a specific type of battery, high-energy density solid-state cells. These batteries need to be light enough to fly, but powerful enough to provide the massive C rate required for vertical lift. Guess who controls 80% of the world's supply chain for these specialized battery materials? China. By the time the US FAA clears a domestic company like Joby Aviation for full commercial service, they may find themselves forced to buy the fuel for their craft from their greatest rival. Communities simply won't tolerate thousands of loud, vibrating machines hovering over their backyards. China's eVTOL fleet has solved this with acoustic engineering. Because these pods use small, high-speed electric motors, instead of a massive internal combustion engine and a single heavy rotor, the sound profile is completely different. At a cruising altitude of 300 meters, an EHang pod is virtually inaudible from the ground. It registers at roughly 65 decibels, the same volume as a normal conversation in an office. China has removed the social friction of the flying car. This maturity was put on full display just days ago at the 2026 China Media Group Spring Festival Gala. In a spectacle that felt more like science fiction than a holiday celebration, a formation of 16 EH216-S pilotless taxis took to the sky simultaneously over Hefei. They weren't just hovering, they were performing coordinated rhythmic aerial maneuvers alongside a world record drone light show of over 22,000 units. This wasn't just for show, it was a demonstration of cluster command and control. It proved that China's air traffic AI can handle massive density without a single human pilot in the loop. While the rest of the world is wondering if one flying car is safe, China is already flying them in swarms. While the West focuses on the cool factor, the Chinese government is focused on the geographic equalizer. Consider provinces like Yunnan and Sichuan, regions defined by jagged mountains and deep river gorges. In these areas, a village might be only 5 miles away as the crow flies. but a 4-hour drive by road due to the winding terrain. This topographic tax has kept these regions in economic isolation for centuries. The rollout of autonomous flight modules is effectively deleting these mountains from the economic map. China is deploying these vehicles as aerial bridges. Instead of spending $500 million to tunnel through a mountain or build a suspension bridge, the government is setting up a network of $300,000 autonomous pods. This is infrastructure as a service. Logistics giants like SF Express are already using these routes to fly fresh produce from mountain farms to city centers in minutes, preserving the value of the crop and bringing city-level wealth to the most remote corners of the country. The competition inside China is becoming even more intense. A new titan has entered the ring, Govi, the flying car unit of the state-owned automaker GAC. In early 2026, they announced they had secured over 2,000 orders worth more than 3.3 billion yuan. Their flagship, the AeroHT, uses a proprietary electric drive system that hits a top speed of 250 kilometers per hour, nearly triple the speed of earlier taxi models. This isn't just for hopping across a city. This is for hopping between entire regions. And they aren't alone. Chang'an Automobile just announced a 20 billion yuan investment plan to dominate the low-altitude economy over the next 5 years. We are witnessing the birth of an industrial chain that looks exactly like the EV boom of the 2000s. China isn't just keeping this tech within its own borders either. We are seeing the birth of the aerial Silk Road. Within the last 18 months, China has signed massive export deals with the United Arab Emirates, Indonesia, and Brazil. In Dubai, the Civil Aviation Authority is already working with Chinese engineers to realize a vision of air commuting between Dubai and Abu Dhabi, a journey that could be slashed to just 30 minutes. By exporting the vehicles and the digital air traffic systems, China is setting the global operating system for 3D travel. If you want to launch a flying taxi service in Southeast Asia or the Middle East today, you aren't calling a company in Kansas, you're calling Guangzhou. So where is the United States in all of this? It isn't for a lack of trying. The US Air Force has a program called Agility Prime, a massive initiative designed to partner with private companies like Joby and Archer Aviation. The goal is to bring vertical lift into the American military and civilian sectors. But there is a fundamental incentive gap. In the US, companies are beholden to quarterly earnings and venture capital exit dates. They are forced to be cautious because a single accident could lead to a decade of lawsuits and a total bankruptcy. In China, the fail fast mentality is backed by the state. The government absorbs the risk, allowing companies to push the envelope of what's possible. The US FAA operates on a safety-first mandate that, while noble, has become an accidental anchor for innovation. While American engineers are filling out 500-page risk assessment forms for a single test hover, Chinese engineers are already on their 10th generation of flight software. This leads us to the catch-22 of American aerospace. To get the certification, you need the data. To get the data, you need to fly. But the regulations won't let you fly until you have the certification. China simply bypassed this loop by creating experimental sky zones in places like Hunan, where the file 1 hour before takeoff model allows aircraft to launch almost immediately upon notification. This brings us to the most overlooked part of the story, the Internet of Wings. Every one of these Chinese flying cars is a floating data node. They are equipped with LiDAR, high-resolution cameras, and environmental sensors. This data is fed back into a central AI that manages everything from urban planning to disaster response. If this deep dive into the low-altitude revolution changed how you see the future, make sure to smash that like button and hit subscribe to join our community of future seekers. We are tracking these disruptions in real time as the world enters this new dimension of mobility. I want to hear from you. The data says these machines are safer than your current car, but the fear factor is real. If an autonomous pod landed in your driveway tomorrow, would you trust the machine to handle the high ground? Or do you need to see a few more years of 40,000 flight safety records? Drop your answer in the comments below. I'll be down there responding to the best takes. I'll see you in the next one.